Hey, this is Mike from the Devil Wears Prada, and this is Amped. It's been amazing. We haven't done any kind of proper headliner like this in a very long time, so yeah, tons of sold out shows. Wrapping things up, 3 more, including tonight, but yeah, grateful for how well it's been received. It's actually nice over here versus the States. People seem to appreciate the newer stuff more, which is, I think, something a lot of artists kind of yearn for. We have kept in a number of the older tracks, though, so anyone that's been listening to us for a long time gets some With Roots Above and Plagues as well. But yeah, I love that over here people are really checked into to Color Decay and even the stuff we've done since then. Yeah, I've done the part 100 times. When those guys, Jeremy, wrote Homesick, he wrote a lot of it with Chris, former member of the Devil Wears Prada, on Warped Tour, just like in the back lounge of their bus. So we were around then. I think I did their demo vocal for it too, and then Tyler Smith recorded the actual feature for the record. And yeah, since then I've done it a million times on Warped Tours over the years, as well as like we supported them when they were doing a Papa Roach tour, and yeah, I'm kind of used to it. Nothing like jitterbugs or anything like that, even though they had a sizable crowd for the festival. But it's always wonderful getting to see those guys. If we've been buddies for 19 years. I think we 2007, so about 18 years. But yeah, good buddies.
Yeah, it was a truly epic moment. I mean, to see that from someone not, unfortunately in Vegas, I wish I was there, right? But it looked incredible. And yeah, as you said, the crowd was just humongous. I mean, it looked terrifying.
Yeah.
And, from my perspective, I'm sure for you, it was just another day at work.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I don't know. For that, like, I'll sing like with like Silverstein, and I get more like antsy about that because I haven't done that, and it's not my vocal part. Like, it's not a feature, but yeah, guest vocal parts can make you way more nervous than your own set usually. But as the video shows, I was pretty intoxicated, so easy, you know. I think the biggest surprise for us was Salt, because we put out Salt as like, hey, here's us doing new music again, and we never expected it to pop as much as it has. Even like back in the States and over here, Salt is usually one of our best receptions from the crowd. So while we all dig the song Salt, and we're proud enough to make it a single, it's really kind of outshined expectations. But yeah, we've put out a song called Ritual since Color Decay, and working on what will be the next single just after this tour. So yeah, fans and listeners can stay tuned. We have a lot in the bank. Just little components of it. I mean, the big, like, little components, like, I like to travel. So the fact that I get to have a job where I get to see places I love, like London, and earlier in the tour, Prague and whatnot, like Paris here in a couple days, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful to go to different studios. That's always kind of like, I'm not much of a studio dweeb or gear guy, but I love guitars and guitar amplifiers and whatnot. So anytime I get to be around that is amazing. Getting to perform in the first place is amazing. Just kind of, expressing yourself and getting a certain weight off your chest via loud, chaotic metalcore. So, yeah, there are all these little things dabbled in there that have me very grateful to still be doing this. I think Jeremy's already kind of said this before, but we couldn't make happy songs if our lives depended on it. So when the next record inevitably comes along, and again, we have a lot of songs we're sitting on, people can expect to feel as sad as ever, because even when we kind of put it to the test to brighten things up, it's like, that's just not the Devil Wears Prada at all. So, yeah. I don't want to say more of the same because that's the last thing that, any artist wants to do, but it certainly hasn't gotten brighter. I'll say that. I've always loved musicians' biographies, and right now I'm pretty tapped into one. I just read Cozy Fanny Tutty's book, or her memoir. Right now I'm reading a sort of lengthy biography on Charles Mingus. Over the last 5-6 years, I've really taken a liking to jazz, and I've found that learning jazz as well is extremely fascinating to me in the history. So yeah, I'm reading Mingus right now. I just got a book from one of the, I forget which, but one of the original members of The Cure about goth. I look forward to getting into that. But I'm also a big fan of ice hockey. I like reading players' novels, or not novels, but biographies and whatnot as well, so I'll sprinkle that in. And then usually a lot of fiction. Right now, I guess I'm not on so much a fiction kick, but next up is Karl Ove Knausgaard's newest book, his newest novel. So I'll be getting into that shortly, and yeah, always like to be reading.
I'm going to have to get the name of that Cure book off you, actually, because I'm interested now.
I think it's called... it's in my suitcase. I think it's just called Goth. But yeah, I know there was a book that came out recently called I think it was called Curapedia or something, that is all of that. But yeah, I need to educate myself further with everything Cure, and recently I getting a little more of a Lou Reed kick too. So definitely a lot to read on that as well. So never enough time. Always a stack of books in the queue. I don't think we're playing anything new. Last time we were over here was with Landmarks, which was a fantastic tour, and I don't think we're playing any songs. We're definitely obviously playing many more songs than we did on that tour, but I don't think anything new, because we played Reasons and Ritual on that one. I don't remember if we played Noise on that one, but I know we're playing Noise on this tour. I think we played Hallucinate on that one, and we swapped out on this. But yeah, it's a pretty lengthy set list. It's well over 60 minutes, and yeah, try to give folks their money's worth.
It's been great seeing some of those older tracks coming through. I think, as we said, seeing that whole discography coming into one set list, I think for many fans is truly epic. Yeah,
I mean, if fans don't want to hear Danger Wild Man or Des Moines anymore, please tell us. So I'd be happy to leave those off the set list forever. But yeah, these days, you look at the streaming numbers and it really helps. I don't make the set list, John does, but he's looking at the Spotify numbers and whatnot, and give the people what they want. I remember I always talk to my buddies. They play in a band called Weekend Nachos back in Chicago, and before I got to know those guys very well, I saw them play in the back of this Mexican restaurant, and a sofa got destroyed. I always think back to that night, and it was one of the first times I connected with my buddy Drew and the band and whatnot. But yeah, it was a fun night, and all to the peril or the behest of a sofa in the middle of the pit. Yeah.
It kind of reminds you of these shows that have been popping up at Denny's. Have you seen those popping off across the state?
Yeah, the What the Fuck Is Up Denny's. It's a real phenomenon, yeah. Oh, I know my greatest album that was given to me was a U2's Greatest Hits. One of the first I remember buying was probably maybe The Changing of Times from Under Oath, or Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. I remember grabbing that. Jasmine's Lullaby. But yeah, back in the day, we have a retail chain in the States called Best Buy, and they used to carry CDs, not so much anymore, but I used to take my money from, the jobs I worked and whatnot and go buy like a CD a week at Best Buy. So much more on the vinyl records train these days, but I've always been a big consumer of physical media, same as literature. I don't do the e-reader type things. I need to own. I dream of owning a library someday, so that's the goal. No. As smart and practical as it is, I'd rather just have a bag that's way too heavy full of books and vinyl records and, hardly be able to fly it home. So, yeah. I'm really, it will never change. There's a record store in Lawrence, Kansas, and they have stickers that say physical media is the future. And it makes me so happy to see that. It's I'll never get off of it. My first concert ever was Incubus at Nationwide Arena in Columbus, but I don't really remember. I never went to big shows as a kid coming into the scene. I just saw local bands around Dayton, Ohio, where I grew up and where Prada started. So it wasn't like I was going to see As I Lay Dying or Under Oath or the big bands back in the day. I was just going to see even members of Prada, their bands play and whatnot. So it was really just the youth group kind of thing. Growing up Christian and whatnot, and that's kind of where things started for me.
Yeah, that's quite good. Love that. The local scene is where it's at.
It is. I've very much lost touch now, even in Milwaukee where I live. But yeah, it's the best. Obviously, I love people coming out and supporting what we do as an international touring band, but I think that's the really inspiring part, and that's the part that builds the community. And even from that to almost 30 years later to what metalcore is today, it all started in basements.
It keeps it thriving, and you're seeing that more today as well, which is what I really love. And these smaller acts going on that same journey that I feel kind of lost its way, and it's starting to you're seeing it again, right? I feel in certain places.
For sure. I think it's the same as almost coming back to physical media.
Yeah.
It's the same as kind of losing the practicality or the utilitarian nature of efficiency, and getting back to gross, sweaty, and loud.
Yeah.
And that's the energy that really founded this world. So I back it. We're about to announce another tour in the States we're doing, and then the next tour we do is also the States and Canada. But the back half of this year, it's already getting very busy, even though we said we were going to stay home and take it easy. But I think we'll have a new record this year. We'll see. And then hopefully this time next year back in EU, UK, and doing it all over again. Yeah. Year 21 by then, if we're not dead. So we'll see.